Hello, everybody, and welcome to Atheist Sunday School, your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and School. I'm your God Emperor Ruben, and this is my subject, Lawrence. And
sure, why not?
Have we got a show for you today?
We do. It's going to be a long one. It's 6 chapters, I think. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes.
Yeah.
6 chapters. We are covering a bit more of Samuel's story, and then we're getting into Saul.
And don't forget our guest today.
Yes, our guest today
our
is
amazing, wonderful guest, Landon Noll, and it is his birthday.
Woo!
Everybody
Hello.
say hi.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon your time zone and latitude. And it's a good thing. And by the way, I must compliment the two of you doing your simultaneous intro. You've been practicing. Now
Yeah, that's what we do on our off time.
Yeah.
We practice that intro.
Just hours every day.
Yeah.
You guys never do that.
You know what I actually forgot, and I'm going to go grab it after the 100-point show.
Oh, it's a 100-point show.
Yes, 100-point show. But I forgot I have some notes down for
right.
this section because it's just so long. I was like, I'm going to need some notes.
Notes, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's new. You never prepare.
Well, then, without further ado, let's get the 100-point show together.
Yes.
So I've got a 100 points question.
Me too.
Scott Walker is the current governor of the state of Wisconsin.
True.
What is Scott Walker's father's name?
Timothy.
Is it?
Scott Walker.
Did you just guess randomly?
Father name.
Yeah, I did just guess.
I believe.
Do you know the answer?
I don't
it
know the
is.
answer. I never know the answer to any 100-point show question I ask you.
Okay,
I mean, half of them are opinion
Landon,
questions.
what do you think?
Scott Walker's father's name.
Yep.
Well, I
He's
guess
just
you could
looking it up
sort of
right now.
say Robert. I don't know.
I think his name is also Scott Walker because Scott Walker is Scott Walker Jr.
Is he?
I don't know, but I think. I
have no idea.
I know his name is Scott Kevin Walker. That you talk about the governor of.
Our state.
About Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The guy who said that God told him to
Run for president.
Yeah, to run for president, but then also said that God told him to stop running for president.
Well, this was a hard question to get right because the guy's name is Llewellyn. Llewellyn.
That's ridiculous.
Why
okay.
would you? You know, I know it was random,
That's ridiculous.
but holy crap, what an answer.
Okay, so I have a 100-point show question. What
Oh,
is the
Lou.
name?
Actually, yeah, Lou is sort of for short. He was a Baptist minister, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds about right.
Okay. All right. So I got a few shades of points, but
All right.
not the full thing.
Landon receives 3.14151926
I think you
points.
messed that up.
Oh, well, according to the time cube theory, pi is actually 3.2.
Stop.
You know,
Give up.
I think there was a time when they tried legally changing pi to like 3.2 or 4 or something like that.
Yes, let's just legislate
That's
mathematics.
exactly what they tried to do, and the mathematicians were like, "You can't. No, that's not how any of this works."
You do not have jurisdiction.
I'm afraid you can't alter those natural laws.
I'm afraid you can't do that.
Oh.
Here's a 100-point show
Okay.
question. What is the name of the Las Vegas professional ice hockey team that began play in the 2017 to 2018 NHL season?
The Golden Knights.
What's your guess?
What city is it again?
Vegas.
Vegas. The High Rollers.
No.
I would have named them the
I'm
High
actually
Rollers.
really surprised that Landon got it.
Wow.
The Golden Knights.
Wow.
That was incredibly impressive.
Well, I have both friends that are quite hockey aficionados, and also I know know a number of Canadians, and it kind of you're living next to them, it kind of rubs off. So, so my 100-point question: which is relevant to today since my day is my birthday. In what time zone was I born? Let's talk about time zone in terms of, hours from Greenwich.
Well, you were born in the U.S., I think.
I think he was born not really that far from where he is now, I think. I have no idea. So I'm going to go with, what?
I'm going to say Mountain Time Zone.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? Mountain
Lawrence?
Time Zone.
Lawrence? Actually, it is the Pacific Standard Time Zone.
Ooh.
Right? They did not have the daylight savings time switch as late as they did when I was born. So I was born under Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, that's just a trick question.
Yeah, that's a trick question.
But it was. I will
UTC.
point out that had you Googled me fast enough and seen the Wikipedia, you could have seen where I was born and the birthplace and figured that out. It wasn't like a trick question.
No, I feel it was a trick question. Landon's just trying to fool us.
He's trying to fool us. You've made a fool out of us.
All right, I'm going to get my notes, and we are going to jump right into Chapter 7.
Sure, I was going to ask. Never mind, I won't ask the question.
Screw your question.
Yeah, the question's probably dumb.
Oh, so Landon, did you see that 4chan solved some math puzzle?
Yeah, so they claim it's I actually haven't seen the proof. I just saw the buzz about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see on that, and I guess they're also trying to figure out wasn't there some question as to who actually submitted the proof? But by the way, today I am reading out of the New American Standard Bible.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Not the non-standard Bible and not the New Canadian Standard Bible, but the New American Standard Bible.
That's some good red-blooded American
Let's
stuff
get
right there.
some freedom going on here.
So you have the KJV, and I have the English Standard Version. We obviously have the Holy Scriptures in the New King James Version here, the Oxford Companion to the Bible, and the New Interpreter's Bible, the Old Testament Survey. So.
I have access to everything ever written online by all of mankind.
Yes, because he has a special computer.
No, I just have
A normal computer, yeah.
With access to Google.
Yeah. All right, so let's hop right in. I got some notes here. We won't be needing them for a little bit. So,
All right, then I'll get us started off with chapter 7 of the book of 1 Samuel. And the men of Kirjath Jearim came and fetched up the ark of the Lord, and brought it into the house of Abinadab in the hill, and sanctified Eleazar the son to keep the ark of the Lord. And it came to pass, while the ark abode in Kirjath Jearim, that the time was long, for it was 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord. And Samuel spoke unto all the house of Israel, saying, If ye do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtaroth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only. And he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. Ashtaroth, that gets used in demonology books a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
is that just like another generic, like, Baal or Beelzebub?
well, I am not quite sure if that's supposed to be. It says the Ashtaroth from among you, so it might be another word for Asherah. I'm not sure. Not 100%.
Yeah, my particular translation says, remove the foreign gods and the Ashtaroth among you. So I guess, is Ashtaroth domestic and the others were foreign?
Well, no. So foreign gods and the Ashtaroth. So the foreign gods obviously included all of them. So I think Ashtaroth, depending on what it means here, and actually, we have this that might be able to help us.
I know that in terms of the demonology that I've read, Ashtaroth.
Yes, and you made a video on that
Yes, I did. You can go check it out if you haven't seen it. Christian Demonology. But
And speaking
Ashtaroth,
of demons, if people submit enough $6.66 too.
Yeah, speaking
oh
of.
yes, enough $6.66 donations, and we will summon Satan.
What are we at, Lawrence?
We are at a total of about 130.
All right.
Yes.
But from what I read about Ashtaroth, it is an appropriation of Ishtar.
All right, that sounds possible. Let's see how that looks like it's it. So from the Oxford Companion to the Bible, the Greek form of Ashtart, one of the three great Canaanite goddesses, and this is Ashtaroth is also Astarte.
Right, which is
Yeah.
also Ishtar.
Yeah. Where the hell was I? Astarte was primarily a goddess of fertility and love, the counterpart of Greek Aphrodite. She was also associated with war, and like her Mesopotamian equivalent, Ishtar, had astral features. In the Bible, worship of the goddess is repeatedly condemned. Twice in the book of Judges, the Israelites are punished for straying after the Baals and Astartes. Solomon is criticized for worshiping Astarte, and Jeremiah castigates the people for making offerings to the Queen of Heaven, a synchronism of Astarte and Ishtar. And the interesting thing is that is probably, in a way, I know Queen of Heaven also gets used for Asherah as well.
Because she's the wife of Yahweh.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
OT, for the 6
Or L.
what?
Yes,
Or
thank you,
L, yeah,
Steve.
depending on, yeah.
And by
And-
the way, and also my text into Asheroth, they make a reference to later on in 1 Samuel chapter 31, where the body of Saul is taken to the temple of Ashtaroth. So
Thank you, OT, for
Yes.
your donation of
Thank you.
$6.66. Satan
is honest. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The most honest character in the Bible. Tells it how it is.
Kick you over,
Total,
But-
total cynic.
But
Yeah.
does Satan count as a foreign god according to this verse 31? Verse
Well,
3?
are the angels and cherubim and seraphim gods?
They are not gods. No. They are they have divine aspects obviously, but they are not gods.
Well, no, they must be gods, because if you go back...
And talk about the angels and how they're kind of synonymous, because angels.
No, if you go back to Genesis, there's a very clear progression of events, and at no point does it say that... Well, first of all, it's always plural form when God's talking. It's like, we must do this. And at no point does it say that he created angels.
Sure. So looking at this historically, we see that initially there were a plethora of gods, and when it became when we get to the Yahweh alone movement, because the regions shared similar ideas about lots of things. So I guess at the time it would have been kind of like a given that these other things existed and were real, but it was for the specific worship of one God. So it's just kind of the scope is very narrow when it came to the writing of these texts.
Right. Then the children of Israel did put away Baalim and Ashtaroth and served the Lord only. And Samuel said, Gather all Israel to Mizpah, and I will pray for you unto the Lord. And they gathered together to Mizpah and drew water, and poured it out before the Lord, and fasted on that day. And said there, We have sinned against the Lord. And Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpah. And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together in Mizpah, the Lord of the Philistines went up against Israel.
Does yours say Lord or Lords plural?
Lords. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
And when the children of Israel heard it, they were afraid of the Philistines. And the children of Israel said to Samuel, Cease not to cry unto the Lord God for us, that he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines. And Samuel took a sucking lamb, that is one that
nursing
was
lamb,
still
yeah.
nursing, yes, and offered it for a burnt offering holy unto the Lord. And Samuel cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. Now this, I don't believe that lambs at 1 year old are still nursing.
Well, I'm
No,
not 100% sure.
Generally, lambs usually stop nursing around 6 months or so. I mean, basically the ewe kicks them out.
So Samuel here has broken the rules of Leviticus, which
Yes.
said that you had to specifically sacrifice a 1 year old lamb.
Right, and no, it specifically said the priests had
Yes.
to do it. So
What about PETA? Did PETA get after him for animal cruelty abuse?
I'm sure they would have.
They didn't have enough support back then,
Ah, okay.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
People eating tasty animals, man.
Yum yum.
Samuel cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But the Lord thundered with a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines, and discomfited them, and they were smitten before Israel.
Ooh, lightning
Fucking
storm.
Destroyed them. And the thing is, because obviously, as we talked about in previous episodes, Yahweh was a storm god.
Well, also
Storm
a
and
volcano
war. But
god.
he eventually got a bunch of things tacked on to him over time.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
But-
it's only associated with the storms that are active because of the volcano, not the volcano.
Well, we can maybe theorize that Yahweh was originally just associated with something that made a loud noise.
Yeah, because we're talking about this. Because maybe.
We're talking
I-
about
I-
thunder. We're talking about
Those
volcanic
dragon shouts.
eruptions, dragon shouts. It seems to
That's
be,
possible.
and it literally begins with him speaking the world into
Yeah,
existence.
yeah. That is possible. Might be a little bit of a stretch.
Mm.
Sound god?
But I just find it interesting.
That could be cool.
Yeah, I just find it interesting.
So-
My translation, but the Lord thundered with a mighty sound that day.
I prefer thundered with a great thunder.
I said, but the Lord thundered with a great thunder on that day against the Philistines, and confused them. Right? Thunder, I guess, was confusing.
Yeah,
As opposed
I-
to, wow, that's a nice storm, right?
I mean, I'm sure at the time when they didn't understand any of that, yes, I'm sure it was confusing. Yeah.
What's going on?
So this gives evidence that Leviticus was not around.
But
Yeah, yeah.
how did
Exactly.
how did the Philistines not know that it was their foreign god that was there leading them on? Right? Why was the thunder against them rather than not for them?
Because Yahweh is better.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess you can tell Yahweh lightning apart from Baal lightning and Ashtaroth lightning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, they're different colors.
Yahweh lightning's a little like green tinted. All right, and
Ball lightning's a little blue.
yeah, and Ashtaroth lightning's a little pink. Yeah. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpeh and pursued the Philistines and smote them until they came under Bethkar. Then Samuel took a stone and set it between Mizpeh and Shen, and called the name of it Ebenezer, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us. Ebenezer probably means something like help of God or something, right?
Rock.
My
The
mic is dead.
stone of help
The stone
is
of
what.
help.
The stone of help. Lawrence's mic is dead. He will return shortly.
Doesn't say that.
That's okay.
Bad
I
mic
can
is
read. I can read chapter 8
Mine
if,
says it.
if you don't mind, and then when you get there. So
If you want, I'm not quite done yet, though.
Oh,
So the Philistines were subdued, and they came no more into the coast of Israel. And the hand of the Lord against the Philistines was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. So this is an interesting bit here because it refers specifically to the coast of Israel. So we know that they were being attacked literally from the Mediterranean from a seafaring group of people, which, I mean, it doesn't specifically say that, but
Pirates.
they're
Pirates.
attacking.
What about
Biblical
pirates? I
pirates.
just heard pirates when I came back.
Right, so the Philistines, and they came no more into the coast of Israel. So
Yeah.
they were seafaring.
They were seafaring. They were incredibly good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are pirates. I mean, this is the piracy verse.
Now, in the cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel from Ekron, even unto Gath. And the coasts thereof did Israel deliver out of the hands of the Philistines. And there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. And Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life, and he went from year to year in circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah, and judged Israel in all those places. And his return was to Ramah, for there was his house. And there he judged Israel, and there he built an altar unto the Lord. And that's the end of chapter 7. Landon said that he wanted to read chapter 8.
So, sure. By the way, I got a question. So he's judged Israel. I wonder, were there any sovereign citizens at the time that would ask Samuel for his credentials before he came in to judge?
You know, let's assume this actually happened.
Mhm.
If you go into if Samuel went into these cities and started doing this, the people of the time that this is supposed to be in would not actually respond well, because they were still worshiping plenty of gods.
Well, no,
historically
as
speaking.
we saw, they
Oh,
said
yeah, they
not
got
to,
rid of
and
them,
then they
right.
immediately got rid of all of them.
Yeah. Do you remember that time when when Joshua's army says, "We'll fucking do anything for you," like at the very beginning? It's like, we'll fucking kill for you. You got people who are disagreeing. We'll fucking kill them.
Maybe this is where Republicans get their ideas, right? Because
From
it's
Samuel.
well, yeah, because it's kind of like prohibition of alcohol. We made alcohol illegal, and then everybody got rid of it, and there wasn't a problem anymore, right?
Yeah.
But
Prohibition always works.
they do the same thing with other mind-altering substances, and
But then is prohibiting foreign gods, is that like a form of prohibition?
oh
Religious
yeah,
prohibition?
because as we know from Marx, those are just the opiates of the masses.
Alrighty. Well, so shall we get on to chapter 8?
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay. And it came about when Samuel was old. Who is he calling old? I wonder how old he was. But anyway, sorry. When Samuel was old, he appointed his sons judges over Israel. And the name of his firstborn son was Joel, and the name of his second son, Abijah. And they were judging in Beersheba. His sons, however, did not walk in the ways, but turned aside after dishonest gain, and took bribes, and perverted justice.
So wait, hold on. Now I'm kind of lost. What? Because my translation is just so different, I guess. No, I'm reading in the wrong spot. That was my issue. But anyways, perverted justice. Okay, so I actually do have something about these verses.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Please.
So the interesting thing is this, because he says that he made them the judges in Beersheba, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the issue is Beersheba was only important in the late Judean monarchy. So before then, it didn't have, from archaeological excavations, it didn't have much of a. It wasn't a worship center. It wasn't a cultic center. So,
Yes.
putting importance on Beersheba and a judgeship here is a indication that this was written later.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also interesting here that, I mean, this precedes the Jewish kings era of the Bible.
Yeah.
And
This is actually leading into it.
it is definitely leading into it because it's one of the few times that judgeship is actually passed down.
And we are going to meet Saul soon, who would you call him the first king, I think? Yeah, I think Saul would be the first king, and then David, and then Solomon, yeah.
Right.
Because
but they already established that once you do that genetic heritage kind of leadership, it results in the next generation being a corrupt version of the previous one.
So if he couldn't judge his family, and he wasn't a good character judge of his family, how good of a judge was he of a nation?
Awful, just awful.
Yeah, like, like as a father, he couldn't even teach his kids not to take bribes.
I mean, how hard is that? Okay, so verse 4. Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel Ramah, and they said to him, Behold!
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 And I want to see some beholds in the chat, by the way. You have grown old. Oh, there is this age discrimination thing again. And your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint a king for us to judge us like all nations. Now that'll help, because obviously having someone being divinely appointed by God to rule will make it better. Obviously, kings and monarchs are some of the lowest pond scum of the planet. So why are they wanting to go and say, okay, you got a couple corrupt sons, so let's have a dude, because it's a king, not a queen, and let's have some royal line of succession, because obviously it worked for Samuel, it'll work for some other dude, right?
Well, it's kind of ridiculous, especially given that, as we've seen through the previous books, they've literally been stomping kingdoms.
Yeah.
It's like throughout their entire journey. And it's not like that system of government seems to have saved any of those people. So why would you even suggest it?
Okay, but the thing was displeasing in the sight of Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed to the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, listen to the voice of the people in regards to all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but have rejected me from being king over them. Ooh. And like all deeds which they have done since the day I brought them up from Egypt, even to this day, in that they forsake me and serve other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen then to their voice. However, you shall solemnly warn them and tell them the procedure of the king who shall reign over them. So Samuel spoke all the words
hold on, Landon, hold on.
of the Lord. Okay, yep.
So it's very interesting. So apparently they have rejected this God but accepted Samuel, which is strange.
Because Samuel's a representative of God.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing. But then God is like, because usually, if in the context of the narrative, God would have fucking destroyed them.
Yeah.
He would have made them eat their children. That's what he would have done.
Set them on fire, or sent an earthquake,
or fucking just had a fissure open up and swallow them whole and then close back up.
Yeah.
Just all those things.
Turn them into pillars of salt.
All those things. But now he's like, no, listen to them. Just hear them out. Hear them out. Tell them that they're wrong, but be nice about it. Oh, ridiculous.
Hey, God's got every personality he could have.
Well, that's why he uses plural forms to reference himself, because he needs to talk to all of his personalities.
Man, he's a screwy God.
Yeah. Anyway, so Samuel spoke all the words of the Lord to the people who had asked him of a king. And he said, this will be the procedure of the king who will reign over you. He will take your sons and place them for himself in his chariots among his horsemen, and they will run before his chariots. And he will appoint for himself commanders of thousands and fifties, and some to do his plowing, or to reap his harvest, or to make his weapons of war and his equipment for his chariots.
So it sounds like they're just starting to create a civilization. It sounds like the author is describing what he views to be the birth of the monarchy.
Well, or he's foreshadowing Eisenhower's "Beware of the military-industrial complex."
Obviously,
right?
he knows it's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a really dark view of what the leader's supposed to be. Because, I mean, as it goes further, it just becomes increasingly like you are property of the king.
State,
now.
Yeah. He will also take your daughters. Ooh.
All right, then.
For perfumers, cooks, and bakers. Perfumers. I guess that's sort of like a king doesn't put on his own deodorant. He has people to perfume him.
Oh yeah, the Queen of England has a servant whose job it is to break in her shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the chief lady of the dole of the so-called United Kingdom. Anyway, did I say that I was not a fan of monarchy? Anyway, so he will take your daughters for perfumers, cooks, and bakers, and he will take the best of your fields, your vineyards, your olive groves, and give them to his servants.
He's taking the best stuff that the people have.
Yeah.
Now,
giving it to. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then he will take 1/10 of your seed and of your vineyards and give to his officers and to his servants. So basically, this is a tax, right? A tithe.
Yeah, this is the tax, but it's kind of a weird tax. Because, well, yes, a lot closer to that because they're taking the best stuff.
Well,
like,
it incentivizes joining the military.
Oh yeah. Or becoming a servant.
This sounds like the Bible quite literally created the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Well,
but it gets worse because he says he will take your male servants and your female servants and your best men and your donkeys and use them.
Well, hold on.
For his work.
Mine says put them to his work. So, I mean, it sounds like literally just like, hey, you had slaves and kids.
So
they're mine now.
Mine is a lot different. So he will take your male servants and your female servants and the best of your young men and your donkeys. But the young men, I have the little annotation or whatever. It says the Septuagint says cattle. And the Septuagint is the first Greek translation of the Old Testament. So it's interesting that the Septuagint says cattle instead of young men.
Right.
All right. Those must be fairly close.
Stands for cattle now.
All right, let's continue.
All right. So he's, and by the way, notice it also and he says the best young men and your donkeys. It doesn't say anything about the daughters, right? And by the way, the servants there. We're not talking about lowly office workers. We're talking about slavery, right? This is another endorsement of slavery.
Yeah.
And he will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his servants. And you will cry out on that day because your king whom you have chosen for yourselves, but the Lord will not answer you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel, and they said, no, but there shall be a king over us, that we may also be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. But he just said he's going to go and they can make people fight the battles for him, right?
Yeah.
Now, after Samuel had heard all the words of the people, he repeated them to Lord in the Lord's hearing. And the Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to their voice and appoint them a king." So Samuel said to the men of Israel, "Go, every man to his city."
All right. So that was the end of chapter 8, and it kind of ends on a strange note because we have the people accepting Samuel initially, and Samuel didn't like change his narrative or what he was saying.
Right.
He was kind of got more specific. Obviously, he was like, "All right, we'll appoint you a king, and he's gonna do all this stuff, but you're gonna not like him, because you're gonna suffer. Obviously, the Lord will not answer you when you cry out." And
I mean,
then,
that was what he was directed to do. He's like, warn the people about the king stuff.
Exactly, warn them. And so it kind of seems like God is telling Samuel to just go along with this inevitable evil. And as we'll see later, there's a big story to go along with this. God seems very non-interventionist now, but it's going to get so interventionist.
Yeah.
Kind of talking out both sides of his mouth.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Say some stuff.
What do you mean?
By the way, before we get to chapter 9, antisocial atheist is in the doctor's office getting a lump he found checked out. So hope everything goes well with you.
Feel better, antisocial atheist.
Yeah.
Get better, man.
Cheers.
I hope you have insurance.
Man, fucking
That's a bummer.
money-eating fucking third parties, middlemans, whatever. Okay.
Thanks
Fucking hell.
Like,
Sorry.
what, the Greens? Like Jill Stein?
What? No, I'm talking about the fucking
Said
insurance.
third parties and
Because the fucking insurance company acts as a fucking middleman.
yeah.
We don't fucking need them. Anyways. I got a cough.
Stop if you think something
Yes.
stop me.
Yes. Like and share. Like and share if you are enjoying the stream. And let's continue on with my chapter 9, and I am going to say a few things about chapter 9 and some of the preceding chapters. Some of the later chapters. So the Saul story can be broken up into two pieces. There's an earlier version, and that obviously has redactions to it. And then there's a later version that also has redactions to it.
Yeah.
And they were kind of written. One was written as an addendum to another, but then both of them were later edited. So I'm going to kind of break this up into some pieces. So when first talking about the old source, the old story, original one, we have. Well, you know what? It is just really. I'm going to list these off, and if you care enough, you can write them down too. Chapter 9, verses 1 through 8, 10 through 14, 18, 22 to 27, and then chapter 10, 2 to 6, and 9 to 13. Though that is what we call the original story, or the earliest one. Because between those there's no unity, or not no unity, but it's not perfect. There are like little issues with it, and then aside from that, we can fully include chapters 11, 13, and 14 into what was more likely original, and then everything else in the Saul story, the late one. We obviously have 1 Samuel 8, which we just read, and then we have chapter 10, 17 through 27, and then chapters 12 to 15, and then both of these obviously have their own additions to them. So It is a little complex, but you know what? All of biblical history is kind of complex because this thing kind of came together over a long period of time, and there are scribal errors and redactions and edits and.
Wait! I thought that like this is like the spoken word of God, and
Oh boy! Let me tell you.
Wasn't that the whole narrative thing? Like this has been divinely inspired.
You wish, Landon. All right. So
before you go on, just comment on this this taxation system that's set up with this king in the previous chapter. So it's interesting because they definitely have cash money in shekels, but
instead they're taking objects
yeah,
and people.
He's not taxing any of the income or the actual liquid cash that the people have access to. He's taking a flat tax of 10% of all of the actual goods that they produce.
So it's an annual basically tax, if you will.
Yeah.
If you think of the production of vineyards as your income.
But
yes.
Isn't that kind of a foolish way of going about it? Because theoretically, you could bring in more value through selling those goods, and then as long as there's a profit made, then taking the money that was produced by selling those goods. So it's not like a smart way of going about it.
Well, no, it's not. It's not smart.
But they had the precedence because, for example, the Levites, priests, you had to give them a little bit of your offering as well. I mean, isn't that sort of precedence about setting?
I mean, they took some of the offering, but this isn't an offering issue.
Right. Well,
this is the setting up of of the monarchy. This is laying the foundation for it.
Now, let's say you wanted to live under this system as well as the Levitical laws for the sacrifices.
Good luck.
Yeah. You would just run out of you would run out of goods.
Yeah.
You would not be able to sustain your own existence.
Yeah. But, that's just biblical love. All right.
And all your servants would go away. You wouldn't have any servants anymore. Your slaves are taken, and your best young men. I guess your daughters. I guess they
can be bakers.
Yeah, they can be bakers. Yeah, nice, good job opportunity there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So chapter 9. There was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, son of Zeror, son of Bechorath, son of Aphiah, a Benjaminite, a man of wealth. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man. There was not a man among the people of Israel more handsome than he. From his shoulders upward, he was taller than any of the people.
So mine's pretty different here,
Really?
and I think it has different implications. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. From his shoulders and upward, he was higher than any of the people.
Dude was so high, he was like real goodly. What the hell?
Bigly.
Now, only from his shoulders upwards, right? Like, I guess, isn't that like
Long
isn't
neck.
that kind of obvious?
He's got a long neck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fucking giraffe, yeah. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. So Kish said to Saul his son, "Take one of the young men with you, and arise, go and look for the donkeys." I love how dramatic they're making looking for donkeys sound.
Yes.
Yeah. And arise, go look for the donkeys. And he passed through the hill country of Ephraim, and passed through the land of Shalishah, but they did not find them. And they passed through the land of Shalim, but they were not there. And they passed through the land of Benjamin, but did not find them. Man, they're just looking everywhere.
Where's my ass?
When they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant who was with him, "Come, let us go back, lest my father cease to care about the donkeys and become anxious about us." But he said to him, "Behold!
Behold,
There is a man of God in the city, and he is a man who is held in honor. All that he says comes true. So now let us go there. Perhaps he can tell us the way we should go." So they're looking for a prophet, an oracle, someone of that nature. Then Saul said to his servant, "But if we go, what can we bring the man? For the bread in our sacks is gone, and there is no present to bring to the man of God. What do we have?" The servant answered Saul again, "Here, I have with me a quarter of a shekel of a quarter of a shekel of silver, and I will give it to the man of God to tell us our way."
So far in this chapter, I've had 2 more beholds than you.
Really?
yeah.
Can we just fill him in?
Let's just say behold twice.
I had a behold in 7, and I had a behold in 8.
Right, well,
Yeah, I had a
Behold!
seven- I had a
Behold!
7 and an 8 as
Behold!
well.
Behold.
By the way, in mine, verse 9 is entirely in parentheses.
yeah, mine too.
Mine too.
Yeah, it is a interesting thing.
So what about punctuation in the Hebrew scriptures?
Well, I'm not sure, because we have had parentheses before, and they don't seem to be consistent with much. So I don't know if it's if that was written into the manuscripts somehow. I'm not 100% certain on that.
I studied Hebrew in Hebrew school
Okay.
when I was forced
Do
to
they have
go.
parentheses in Hebrew? Or anything
Use
that
them now.
They use them now.
They use them now.
Okay.
But in everything that we covered, I never saw one character that was used as parentheses traditionally.
Okay.
So I have no idea where they get this.
So the interesting thing is that this is one of the later editions, this part in parentheses. Now, obviously, it's not consistent because there are things that are later editions that aren't in parentheses.
Right.
So it can't be an indicator for that.
What is it an indicator of? I mean, I understand that it is there.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why.
Well, traditionally, parentheses are there to denote information that's relevant to the story, but which doesn't fit within the narrative.
Does it
Right.
feel like that?
Well, so, and I will give it to the man of God and tell us our way. And then it says, "Formerly in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, he said, 'Come, let us go to the seer.' For today's prophet was formerly called a seer." So it's an entirely different view
Yep.
of everything. So yes, this is a very obvious later addition.
Yep.
I've never seen the term seer used instead of prophet in any of these previous
have I
books.
Not in the previous books, exactly, because this is one of the earliest ones.
Yeah. Normally
Okay.
it doesn't just shift.
If this is one of the
tense.
earliest ones, then they would have had knowledge of it and would have used the terminology in earlier books.
Guys, they just shift
No.
tenses
So-
mid-story.
So it says that they were called seers.
Yeah.
So
Shifts tenses.
Ah.
yeah, so the author of the Deuteronomistic history was one of the earliest sections of the Bible written, and this addition to it was definitely added to clarify the use of. Did they use the term seer? Maybe in the Hebrew they do.
They didn't use it for Abraham.
I know they
Or
didn't use it.
Isaac,
I know.
or
Those were
Jacob.
written later when they were using the word prophet.
Right, but if this had been around before they wrote those books, then they would know that at the time of Abraham, they would have used the word seer.
Right.
So they would have used that word, right?
Yes.
But they don't.
Right. Okay.
So this must have been added after the writing of the previous
Oh, I
books
see. Okay.
of
Yeah.
the Torah.
Yeah. Very
All right.
possible.
Very good.
Okay.
Great redaction.
Yes, great, fantastic redaction. And Saul said to his servant, "Well said! Come, let us go." So they went to the city where the man of God was. And as they went up the hill to the city, they met young women coming out to draw water and said to them, "Is the seer here?" Interesting. They answered, "He is. Behold!
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 He is just ahead of you. Hurry. He has come just now to the city because the people have a sacrifice today on the high place. As soon as you enter the city, you will find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat till he comes, since he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those who are invited will eat. Now go up, for you will meet him immediately." So they went up to the city. As they were entering the city, they saw Samuel coming out toward them on his way up to the high place. So the seer was apparently Samuel.
Ooh.
Yeah, interesting.
Even
you know,
though
plot
his
twist.
sons are supposed to be going around judging at this moment.
No, they're in a different place. So they're in Beersheba, right? So these are the sons of a different guy, or this is a son and then the servant of a different guy. So this is kind of them meeting up. They're becoming BFFs.
Well, it says it's in the land of Zuph right now, where they are.
Zuph, okay.
And that is not,
It's
to
not.
my knowledge, included in the places where Samuel was wandering back and forth for the rest of his life.
Hey, that's I don't recall that,
I
but
mean,
we can definitely look into that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, and then this part, these next three verses, 15, 16, and 17, are also later additions.
Yeah, here it says he went from year to year in a circuit to Bethel, Gilgal, and Mizpah, and his return was to Ramah.
Smart. And you said that they were in Zuph?
Yeah, here it says Zuph.
No, hold on. They came.
In verse
In
5.
Zuph, when they came to the land of Zuph. Yeah. Now I don't know where any of those places are,
Right.
but it's certainly a different place. It seems like they're making a distinction. Yeah. Interesting. So Samuel was in a place that he wasn't supposed to be.
And it doesn't say like Zuph, which is in between the lands.
Yeah.
And they sometimes do.
It might be in between.
It might be in between.
Yeah.
But if it were in between, they would have mentioned it like they mention it every other time.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have a modicum of like, similarity between how they write their things. Because they just say stuff sometimes that like sound like they'll have a pattern and then break those patterns entirely.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
Yeah,
this. It
that does
sucks.
happen.
It's like, yeah, normally we have ultra specificity on this, but this time we're gonna just drop the ball.
Okay. So now the day before Saul came. Wait, what? Oh, now the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed to Samuel, "Tomorrow about this time I will send to you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be prince over my people Israel. He shall save my people from the hand of the Philistines, for I have seen my people, because their cry has come to me." So even though he just talked about not answering their cries.
And he's literally sent people to persecute them before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, God.
Yes.
So that.
Like,
Wait, hold on. There's one more verse in this edition. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, "Here is the man of whom I spoke to you. He is." Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, what? Okay. He it is who shall restrain my people.
Mine says, and when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said unto him, "Behold the man whom I spake to thee of. This same shall reign over my people."
Okay, yeah, I have he it is.
I love
Who shall
because
restrain my
it's just
people.
so grammatically awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man,
so-
that is a chug. I couldn't say
So that part is in addition. That part
Yeah.
that we just read about, kind of going back and adding a prophecy into there.
Yeah, mine also says, "Behold, the man spoke to you."
Yeah. Behold, everyone's got behold but me. Okay.
Yep.
Holds behind.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back and just try to get rid of this spot.
Yes.
And see how it flows. No. Yeah, let's just see how this flows. So they went up to the city. As they were entering the city, they saw Samuel coming out toward them on his way up to the high place. Then Saul approached Samuel in the gate. Do you see how much better that flows?
Yes.
Yeah. Very obvious, put in later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Saul approached Samuel in the gate and said, "Tell me, where is the house of the seer?" Okay, so, well, let's see where this goes. Samuel answered Saul, "I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for today you shall eat with me." Very friendly. And in the morning I will let you go, and I will tell you all that is on your mind. As for your donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, do not set your mind on them, for they have been found. And for whom is all that is desirable in Israel? Is it not for you and for all your father's house? Saul answered, "Am I not a Benjaminite from the least of the tribes of Israel? And is not my clan the humblest of the clans of the tribe of Benjamin?"
Wait, is he bragging about being the humblest?
No.
Yeah, well, kind of.
No, he's not bragging.
Kind.
He's
I think I am more humble than you could possibly understand.
That's not the point of this statement at all.
Could possibly doubt.
That's a strict misinterpretation
I still think
of
it's
what's
funny phrase.
happening here. He's literally like confused, and he's like, "Hey, I'm nothing special. Relax."
I know, but the phrasing. It's funny. You're fine.
Well, whatever.
Continue.
And is not my clan the humblest of all the clans of the tribe of Benjamin? Why then have you spoken to me in this way? Then Samuel took Saul and his young man and brought them into the hall and gave them a place at the head of those who had been invited, who were about 30 persons. And Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the portion I gave you, of which I said to you, put it aside." So the cook took up the leg and what was on it, and set them before Saul. And Samuel said, "See, what was kept is set before you. Eat, because it was kept for you until the hour appointed, so that you might eat with the guests." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. And when they came down from the high place into the city, a bed was spread for Saul. Wait, hold on. I have a little note here. A little note about the bed being spread for Saul.
Oh, that's really important.
Okay, this is weird. A bed was spread for Saul, but according to the Septuagint and the Hebrew, I'm not sure why it's the Septuagint and the Hebrew. Okay. So a bed was spread for Saul, and he spoke with Saul. Okay, so it's just like a later addition into it. That's what it looks like. So, although,
Again, this is really disorienting. It's not your fault it's so disorienting.
well, there's a little piece that was in some versions,
Yeah.
and then not others, and they decided
Yeah.
that it shouldn't be there initially.
I get
Yeah.
that, but this entire section has like parentheses and
Well, I mean-
all sorts of shit added and redacted in different tenses.
I mean,
It's
it's.
very disoriented is all I'm saying.
I mean,
Yeah, but divine poop. Divine poop, right?
Right, poop, thanks.
Divinely inspired.
Spread for Saul on the roof, and he lay down to sleep. Then, at the break of dawn, Samuel called to Saul on the roof, "Up, that I may send you on your way." So Saul arose, and both he and Samuel went out into the street. As they were going down to the outskirts of the city, Samuel said to Saul, "Tell the servant to pass on before us, and when he passed on, and when he has passed on, stop here yourself for a while, that I may make known to you the word of God." So it looks like this is a very early evangelist.
Ah.
Yeah. All right, that is...
Or literally that he's passing on the magical power to speak to God.
That too.
Magical powers.
That too.
Hear voices in your head.
Yes.
All right. I think that was all I had on chapter 9.
And if you're enjoying the stream, like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Share it to all your friends, family, neighbors, countrymen, ex-wives, estranged children, homeless people you meet on the street, animals, and plants.
If you are capable of speaking with other wizards using magic spells, please inform them using those spells. Thank you.
Yes.
Well put, well put.
And that moves us on to chapter 10. All right. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head, and kissed him and said, "Is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance?" So, very traditional anointing ritual, anointing oil. "When
Yes.
thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah." So a sepulchre is like a statue, right? It's an engraved image.
You know,
At
I've
least by
seen
my understanding.
that word a lot, and I never fully understood it. But you can go ahead and keep reading. I'll look that up.
But if Rachel is indeed dead, that makes her a thing under the ground. And so a statue of her would be depicting things in the sky or under the ground.
Well, it's not. It's
It's a direct law that you're not allowed to depict things that are under the ground.
Was it okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like Jim says sepulcher is a tomb.
Oh, a tomb.
Okay.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, because you can't put it underground. No depicting caves, guys. No bats. None of that stuff.
No.
They will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth to you, saying, What shall I do for my son? Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plains of Tabor, and there shall meet thee 3 men going up to God to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids,
Young goats.
another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee, and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. After that thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place, with a psaltery, and a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp before them.
Ooh.
And they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shalt be turned into another man.
So a group of prophets. It's like, there are a flock of them, or
Yeah,
these
he's just
people-
going to come across this roaming band of troubadour prophets.
okay.
And thou shalt go down, and let it be when these signs are come unto thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold,
Behold.
I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings, and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days shalt thou tarry, till I come to thee, and show thee what thou shalt do. And it was so, that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart.
Another heart.
And all those signs came to pass that day. Isn't that a lot easier than restating everything over again?
Yes.
All those signs came to pass that day.
Wow, I
Yeah.
wish every part of the Bible that had redundancy could have been summarized like a transitional narrative
Yeah.
Anyway, please continue.
And it came to pass, when all that knew him before time saw that, behold,
Behold.
he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that come unto the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets? Apparently.
I don't know why that became a proverb.
And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place, and Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, whither went ye? And he said, to seek the asses.
Oh, and by the way, 12 and 13, also a later edition.
That makes sense,
Yeah.
because it's really out of place.
Yeah.
Is Saul among the prophets?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
they need to get a
Is
better
he?
copy
That's a
editor.
proverb.
And he said, to seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we went to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel told you. And Saul said unto his uncle, he told us plainly that the asses were found. But of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, he told him not. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord to Mizpeh, and said unto the children of Israel, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all kingdoms, and of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations. And he said unto him, nay, but set a king over us. Now, therefore, present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should yet come thither. And the Lord answered, behold!
Behold!
Behold.
He hath hid himself among the stuff.
Like anything?
Yeah.
I have baggage.
Wow.
And-
Hiding himself by the baggage, yes.
And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders and upward. And
Now,
Samuel...
By the way, why do they keep talking about his shoulders higher than his shoulders upward? I mean, that's if you're tall, that's going to be above other people. So I guess they're saying that his shoulders were higher than people's heads.
I think he just had a really long neck.
Or maybe he had a big forehead.
Maybe he had a 5 head.
Maybe he had Down syndrome.
Maybe.
I mean,
All right.
there's nothing in here that would suggest he didn't.
Because that's how logic works.
Yeah. Where was I? There's a lot of crap
Oh,
in here.
I think you're at 23 now, right?
Right. They ran and fetched him thence, and he was shoulders and upward higher than
Yeah.
all the people. Okay. And Samuel said to all the people, see ye him whom the Lord hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king.
So well, mine says long live the king.
Mine says "Long live the king" as well.
Yeah. But it's really interesting how quick the people are to change their mind. Because when you're talking about like, because Samuel's presenting this as the king that the Lord has chosen,
Yeah.
and the Lord did choose this king, but the Lord was also against them, not even against them having a king. He was just bummed that it wasn't him, I guess.
Yeah.
He's got a weird complex.
And of course, he also refers to him as a prince initially, but yeah, and mine think also they say that may the king live long, something like that. So Yep.
Well, God saved the king. Then Samuel told the people in the manner of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it before the Lord. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. But the children of Belial said, "How shall this man save us?" And they despised him and brought him no presents. But he held his peace.
So it says, yours says
Ooh.
the children of Belial, but remember, mine says the children of the worthless.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Well, he held his peace when they didn't bring him presents. I gotta use the restroom, man. I'll be back. But
Alrighty.
feel free to keep reading.
Oh, okay.
So chapter 11.
Yeah, so definitely, I see 23 watchers. I should see 23 likes. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't. all
Buy
that
the
stuff.
t-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, buy the t-shirts, I guess.
Do us a favor and give us that thumbs up.
And
Share
our
it.
shit to get over
Share it with your prophets.
'cause
Or share your prophets, either one.
I didn't click share. I didn't show that. I haven't done any transitions.
Hold on,
I
here's
love reading stuff.
Here's, I just want to read this out because Rachel has a very interesting translation. So from this is from 1 Samuel 10:27b, so the second half of that verse. But there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Ammonites and had entered Jabesh Gilead, and I don't see anything about 7,000 men, so it's very interesting. And then she says that the note, and here's the footnote that comes with it, QMs, so Qumran, the Masoretic text, compare Josephus. Okay, so it just seems like there were some later additions in some traditions that added a specific amount of men to that. That's neat. I don't know why it would have to be 7,000. That's strange.
Jewish numerology, probably.
I mean, probably. Okay.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump in.
chapter 11.
Yes.
Now, Nahash, the Amorite, came up and besieged. I'm hearing an echo.
Hold on.
There's
Hold on.
Gilead.
Hold on. Just a second. Before you jump into that, I did make one more note about chapter 10, and I forgot about it. I apologize. I fucked up. So, chapter 10, verse 20. Mine says, Then Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel near, and the tribe of Benjamin was taken by Lot. Instead of Samuel, do any of yours say Saul?
No.
Which verse?
It's verse 20 in chapter 10.
Mine says Samuel.
20. And when Samuel had caused all the tribe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Paul's here.
Okay, because I think I can pull it up. I brought another book with me. I brought John Van Setter's historiography. I forget the full title, but he points out that it is either Saul or Samuel, and the Samuel translation comes from the Septuagint. But apparently Saul is in there as well. So it's just neat. I was just wondering what translation or what your translation said.
Yeah.
I was just curious because apparently.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for that information.
Yeah. All right. So sorry. Chapter
All right.
11.
Chapter 11. Let's try it again. Now, Nahash the Amorite came up and besieged Jabesh Gilead, and all the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, "Make a covenant with us, and we will serve you." But Nahash the Ammonite said to them, "I will take it I will make it with you on this condition, that I will gouge out the right eye of every one of you. Thus, I will make it a reproach on all Israel. Well, that's a pretty harsh condition.
Hardcore, man.
And the elders of the judge said to him, let us alone for 7 days, that we may send messengers throughout the territory of Israel. And then there will be no one who, if there be no one who deliver us, we will come out to you.
So,
And the messengers came up to Gibesh of Saul and spoke the words in the hearing of all the people. And all of the people lifted up their voices and wept. Now, behold,
behold!
Saul was coming from a field behind the oxen, and he said, what is the matter with the people, that they weep? So they related to him the words of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul mightily when he heard these words, and he became very angry. And he took a yoke of oxen and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout the territory of Israel by the hand of messengers, saying, whoever does not come out after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done to his oxen. Then the dread of the Lord fell upon these people, and they came out as one man. And he numbered them in Bezek, and the sons of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000.
So I kind of see why later traditions had an escape of 7,000 men, just to kind of tie in to the next story. So it's really interesting, because this story does seem out of place, and that's because it is. This is probably so the narrative that we had before was part of a later redaction. Like it was part of a later edition. So now we're back to probably the earlier one. And I'm going to read a piece from John Van Setter's In Search of History, Historiography in the Ancient World and the Origins of Biblical History. This is a very, very old book. Well, it's not like very, very old, but it's like from 86 or something. Oh. And it's old for a book, older than me. All of us except Landon. And it has like a bunch of writing in it. It's like completely like used up, but it has a lot of great info in it. So I pulled this up about this chapter, and I just kind of want to read through this here. Wait, what verse are we on? I'm sorry.
So I just finished verse 8.
Oh, you just finished verse 8? Okay. Tell you what, finish this chapter, and then I will read from this.
All right. So you want me to finish the chapter?
Yeah.
Uninterrupted.
And they said to the messengers who had come, thus you shall say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow, by the time the sun is hot, you shall have deliverance. So the messengers went and told the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Then the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will come out to you, and you may do to us whatever seems good to you.
Wow.
And
Very, Oh, hey, Chris.
What?
Reese is telling you to shut the fuck up. A viewer.
Oh,
So shut the fuck up.
I haven't said anything.
All right. Well, anyways, let's go
I
on.
also like that they tell time by the time when the sun is hot.
yes. Yeah, the cold sun occurred, about 4.6 billion years ago as it was collapsing from the... Oh, never mind. And it happened the next morning that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the camp. at the morning watch, and struck down the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And it came about that those who survived were scattered, so that no two of them were left together.
So this sounds like an explanation for why these people are scattered throughout the land. Seems like a way to do that. Very interesting. I forget what the term for this is.
Genocide?
A dispersion.
Well, it is a genocide also, but it's I guess it's
Vice versa, yes. So,
whatever. Trying to think of the word, like when you try to explain something, like a fact that you see in your world with a story.
A metaphor?
No. With a story that I mean, it's like a metaphor, but it's not.
A simile?
No, fuck off. No, I don't remember the word. But it's like when you go back and try to. It's not in this case. Not exactly.
An analogy, an allegory.
No, it's neither. It's neither of those. It's close to allegory. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't remember the exact word.
It's cognitive dissonance.
Fuck you.
I must say that this Sunday school has the most number of F words. They didn't have F words in my previous Sunday school, so
Oh, wow.
I'm pleased to be here. Anyway, so verse 12. Then the people said to Samuel, "Who is he that said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men that we may put them to death."
Ooh.
But Saul said, "Not a man shall be put to death this day, for today the Lord has accomplished a deliverance in Israel." Then Samuel said to the people, "Come, let us go to Gilgal and renew the kingdom there." Why renew? Okay, well, anyway.
I don't know.
So all the people went to Gilgal, and they made Saul king before the Lord in Gilgal. And they also offered sacrifices of peace offerings before the Lord. And Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly.
Okay, so they just all of a sudden were just cool with everything.
Ooh, murder.
Seems
Happy,
like
happy.
all their problems just went away in like in a verse.
Well, you know, when...
Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you want to read from that
Yes,
thing?
yes. So here's a little section.
Yeah, it's a Ren and Stimpy reference.
I have no clue. Okay. Saul's rescue of the people of Jabesh Gilead in chapter 11 is a self-contained story. Here's an interesting little note. The introduction to this story in one of the Qumran scrolls makes this even more apparent than in the Masoretic text. So I guess there's just an interesting addition in the Qumran text. It is a self-contained story that is probably the oldest account of how Saul was crowned king. His rise to a position of leadership is based on a singular act, as is so often the case in the stories of the judges. To this account have been added verses 12 to 14, that little part that we just read, that renewal portion, along with the reference to Samuel in verse 7. Yes. Which make of this coronation a renewal of kingship. The connections between 10, 26, 27 and the remarks in verses 12 to 13 are obvious. They represent a redactional link and not an old tradition of opposition to the monarchy. The victory in chapter 11 is interpreted by the redactor as proof and confirmation of the divine choice in chapter 10, verse 20, the choosing of the Benjaminites, I think. Again, in this redactional edition, the rather secular story is given a theological perspective through the words of Saul. Today, Yahweh has won a victory in Israel. And apparently, like I said before, it's Samuel in the Septuagint. So, yeah, that's the little portion I had to read. So I hope that was at least a little enlightening to everyone.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah. Just thought it was an interesting little piece of history. Okay. I guess
Chapter 12.
yes, chapter 12. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please drop a like. It really helps us out. Subscribe if you haven't. All that good stuff. And remember,
Shut up more, please.
yeah, shut up, Chris.
Not you. Yeah.
And remember, demon summoning. Gonna be doing that shit.
You get
Oh.
closer.
We're getting closer and closer to that $6, to that $666 goal. So, it's on its way at least. All right, chapter 12. And Samuel said to all Israel, "Behold,
Behold!
Behold.
I have obeyed your voice in all that you have said to me, and have made a king over you. And now behold,
Behold!
oh, this is going to be great. The king walks before you, and I am old and gray, and behold,
Behold.
my sons are with you. I have walked before you from my youth until this day. Here I am. Testify against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose donkey have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or from whose hand have I taken a bribe to blind my eyes with it? Testify against me, and I will restore you." That's weird. They said, "You have not defrauded us, or oppressed us, or taken anything from any man's hand." And he said to them, "The Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that you have not found anything in my hand." And they said, "He is witness." This is very confusing.
Yes,
Oh.
it is quite odd.
Wow.
Thank
Wow,
you,
Ellis.
Hall.
Aw,
for
thank you.
$24.99 beholds.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's a lot of beholds.
Wow, what could it be? That animation never comes
Thank-
up.
Wow.
You
Okay.
have to give certain dollars to get weird animations in this.
Oh yeah, there it is. We see it now.
What animation is this? Because I'm just seeing the green screen.
Oh,
Aw.
it's
Me
Chris.
in a scientist outfit looking surprised.
Yeah. Man, that is a good portion. Thank you, Ellis.
Thank you, Ellis.
Yeah, and Ellis is a patron, and I've been trying to fulfill his patron reward of the patron hangout.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
Yeah, come hang out with us. In fact,
That's just after the show. We'll have time. That might work, right, guys?
yeah, that works for me. Yeah. So Ellis, definitely check your Patreon after the show. I'll send you a link to a hangout, and we can get that patron reward out of the way.
All right, let's continue.
Yes. Okay. If you can do it. Okay.
It's cool. It's cool. I recommend it.
And Samuel said to the people, "The Lord is witness, who appointed Moses and Aaron and brought your fathers up out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may plead with you before the Lord concerning all the righteous deeds of the Lord that he performed for you and for your fathers, when Jacob went into Egypt and the Egyptians oppressed him. Then your fathers cried out to the Lord, and the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt and made them dwell in this place." So, obviously, they're saying that they're alluding to an ancient tradition that hadn't been exactly written down yet, because Joseph then became the king.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he wasn't very oppressed at that point. Yeah. But they forgot the Lord their God, and he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army of Hazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried out to the Lord and said, "We have sinned because we have forsaken the Lord, and have served the Baals and the Ashtaroth." Now, see,
There's that Astra again.
Other gods, kind of.
so it's very much this is very much pushing the whole Yahweh alone thing. Yeah, very much, and they kind of blame themselves for all of their hardships.
Yeah, and their God is an awesome God, so like don't even think the other gods are that great. Come on.
Don't even.
Yeah.
But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, that we may serve you. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal and Barak and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and you lived in safety. And when you saw that Nahash, the king of the Ammonites, came against you, you said to me, No, but a king shall reign over us, when the Lord your God was your king. And now, behold,
Behold,
the king...
Behold.
Where the hell was I?
the king.
Yeah, the king whom you have chosen, for whom you have asked. Behold,
Behold.
the Lord has set a king over you. If you will fear the Lord and serve him and obey his voice and not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, and if both you and the king who reigns over you will follow the Lord your God, it will be well. Now this is coming from the mouth of Saul, the king, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
just interesting. But if you will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you and your king. Now, therefore, stand still and see this great thing that the Lord...
Oh, my King James Version removes that. Of course, the Lord
Where?
can't be against the king, because King James. Mine says, as it was against your fathers.
let's see.
What verse?
No, the Septuagint.
What
and
verse?
apparently Hebrew also says fathers in verse 15 at the end there. Interesting. Okay.
As it was against your fathers is what my edition says.
Yeah, mine says king. Okay. Now therefore stand still and see the great thing that the Lord will do before your eyes. It is not wheat harvest. Oh, is it not wheat harvest today? I will call upon the Lord that he may send thunder and rain, and you shall know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking for yourselves a king. So Samuel called upon the Lord, and the Lord... oh wait, was this Saul or...
No, it's Samuel, because Samuel's, it just says.
Oh, yeah, sorry, this was Samuel, you're right.
And of course, as I say, that
Yeah, you're
John also is correctly saying this is Samuel speaking.
Yeah, this is Samuel speaking. My bad, I messed it up earlier. So Samuel called upon the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said to Samuel, Pray for your servants to the Lord your God. Pray for your servants to the Lord your God, that we may not die. For we have added to all our sins this evil to ask for ourselves a king. That God told them, that the God told Samuel he should find.
Mm-hmm.
So does the King James edition being something sucking up to the monarchy, does that leave that in?
Yeah, it leaves it in.
Okay.
And Samuel said to the people, Do not be afraid. You have done all this evil. Yet do not turn aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. And do not turn aside after empty things that cannot profit or deliver, for they are empty. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make a people for himself. You know, the interesting thing is it says that he's not going to forsake his people, but we've seen how many times that he has forsaken his people?
Plenty of times.
Plenty of times. Yeah, seriously.
Damn it, we want to be taxed.
Broken record.
Yeah.
Can you pick your pencil up? Let's go to your camera real quick.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Not
Yep. Anyways, moreover, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord by ceasing to pray for you, and I will instruct you in the good and the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart, for consider what great things he has done for you. But if you still do wickedly, you shall be swept away, both you and your king.
And that's the end of chapter 12.
Yes.
That is the end
My goodness.
of chapter 12 and this episode.
Marathon.
Here endeth the lesson.
Damn. Okay.
Just like and sharing stuff here. I put that up. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. And
Again to Landon.
yes, thank you, Landon,
Happy
for joining us.
birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy.
And I think
Thank you kindly.
And I think
Number
I was
58.
I saw some stuff on Facebook and on Twitter about you being on some shows tonight and on the YouTubes too. I think you're going to be on 2 shows tonight, right?
I think I have a Pimp Monk going to be, and we're going to do a show later today, I believe. Isn't the Pimp Monk show at? Yes, it's at 14 Pacific, which is 16 Central or 17 Eastern.
Okay. And is that your only other show today then?
Is there another show I'm supposed to be on?
I don't know. I think I thought I saw something on it. I could just.
Well, I'm going to be at the at Cal State University East Bay, formerly Hayward, on Tuesday, where we're going to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the discovery of what was then the largest known prime that I helped co-discover at that time.
I love how you're celebrating a number. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's a nice thing. So I'm going to be speaking there, and it was a momentous occasion. So that's coming up as well.
All right. Fantastic.
I didn't do it.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Ellis, for the birthday reaches. Thank you, Nota.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If you like what we do, if you haven't already, drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't.
And-
Facebook, Twitter, Patreon.
And if you want to be a real big fan, you could get a full back piece tattoo of any of our faces.
Wow, that's a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
Or you could do the what is it, the $1,000
The
Patreon
$10,000.
thing?
The
to get a high-
$10,000 high five.
$10,000.
Yeah.
$10,000 high five. But only if you're in North America. Is it that you
The
get the high five?
continental
or-
United States.
Continental United States.
Alaska included, though, because we could probably go there.
I mean, do we
But
really
not
want-
Hawaii.
Do we really
Not
want to
Hawaii.
go to
That's not
Alaska?
continental.
Continental.
Not
All right.
Guam. Oh.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Links in the description for everything you could possibly be interested in.
Yes.
At all.
And if you know that there's another show I'm supposed to be on later tonight, let me know because.
Yeah, I thought I saw something on it.
I mean, being 58, maybe I've forgotten.
All right, well, I'll let you know. Maybe I just probably messed up.
So until the next time, we are Milwaukee Atheists. Peace the fuck out.